Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. I'm Matt McDonough. Thank you so much for coming out to our first show, SPAP. That was it. It's over. I hope you had a good time. If you didn't, go fuck yourself. Or maybe we're just bad. I don't know. But the show's over, so get your stuff, head on out, go home, and I'm gonna read an American classic, Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace, for the next 20 minutes if you guys do not leave. This book is 1,079 pages, so buckle up and prepare to go on a journey. Page 1, Year of Glad. I am seated in an office surrounded by heads and bodies. My posture is consciously congruent to the shape of my hard chair. This is a cold room in the university administration. Wood wall, Remington hung, double windowed against that November heat, insulated from the administrative sounds by the reception area, at which Uncle Charles, Mr. DeLint, and I were lately received. I am in here. 3 faces resolved into place above the summer weight sports coats and the half Windsors across the polished pine conference table shiny with the spider light of an Arizona noon. These are the 3 deans of admissions, academic affairs, athletic affairs. I do not know which face belongs to whom. I believe. Sometimes I fuck up my words. Get off my back. I believe I appear neutral, maybe even pleasant, though I have been coached to the side of neutrality and not attempt what I would feel me like a pleasant expression or a smile. I've committed to crossing my legs, hopefully, I hope carefully, ankle on knee, hands together in my lap of my slacks. My fingers are matted into a mirrored series of what manifests to me as the letter X. The interviewer's room, other tennis coach and academic confessor, Mr. A. DeLint, CT, is beside me. The others sit, stand, and stand respectively at the periphery of my focus. The tennis coach jingles pocket change. There is something vaguely digestive about the room's odor. The high-traction sole of my complimentary Nike sneakers runs parallel to the wobbling loafer of my mother's half-brother, here in his capacity as headmaster, sitting in the chair to what I hope is my immediate right, also facing deans. The dean at my left, a lean, yellowish man, whose fixed smile nevertheless has impermanent quality of something stamped into the uncooperative material, is a personality type I've come to lately appreciate. The type who delays the need of any response from me by relating my side of the story for me to me. Past a packet of computer sheets by the shaggy line of a dean at the center, he is speaking more or less to these pages, smiling down. You are Harold Incandenza. You are Harold Incandenza. What a name, folks. You are Harold Incandeza, 18, date of secondary school graduation approximately 1 month from now, attending the Infield Tennis Academy in Enfield, Massachusetts, a boarding school where you reside. His reading glasses are rectangular, court-shaped, the sidelines at the top and bottom. You are, according to Coach White and Dean, unintelligible. A regionally, nationally, and continentally ranked junior tennis player. A potential ONANCAA athlete of substantial promise, recruited by Coach White via correspondence with Dr. Travis here commencing February of this year. The top page is removed and brought around neatly to the bottom of the sheaf at intervals. You have been in residence at Infield Tennis Academy since age 7. I'm debating whether to risk scratching the right side of my jaw where there is a ween. So I just finished the first page. If you're still here, find something better to do with your life. If you've left, you won't hear this. So please leave so I can stop reading this book. I bought it because I thought I wanted to read it because it's an American masterpiece, but then it's 1,079 pages long, so you are forcing me to live out my own torture by staying here. So please leave ASAP. Save me from my hell. Thank you so much. Coach White informs our offices that he holds the Infield Tennis Academy's program and achievements in high regard, that the University of Arizona's tennis team has profited from the prior matriculation of several former ETA alumni, one of whom, Mr. Aubrey DeLint, who appears to also be here with you today. Coach White and his staff have given to us, the Yale administrator's usage is on the whole indistinguished, though I have to admit he's made himself understood. The director of composition seems to have more than the normal number of eyebrows. The dean at right is looking at my face a bit strangely. Uncle Charge, Jesus Christ on the cross, right, folks? Uncle Charles is saying that though he can anticipate that the deans might be predisposed to weigh what he avers, somebody look up that word, A-V-E-R-S, avers, as coming from his possible appearance as a kind of a cheerleader for the ETA. He can assure the assembled deans that all of this is true, and that the Academy has presently in residence no fewer than a third of the continent's top 30 juniors in all age brackets all across the board, and that I here, who go by Hal, usually am right up there among the very cream of the crop. Right and center, deans smile professionally. The heads of Dylint and the coach incline as the dean at left clears his throat. You can't chair a throat. You know what? How far are we into this?
7 minutes.
All right, let's keep going. I'm gonna, you know what? We kind of know where the story's going. I'm just gonna... Page 284. We'll just pick up there. Orrin chose BU, Boston U, not a tennis power, not in Caltech's league academically, not the sort of place that hires bands or flies you out for Roman orgies of inducement. Okay, and only just about 3 clicks down the hill from Com Avenue, from ETA, west of the Bay, around the intersection of Commonwealth and Beacon, Boston. It was a kind of a joint Orrin Incandenza or Averill Incandenza decision. Orrin's mom privately thought it was important for Orrin to be away from home, psychologically speaking, but still to be able to come home whenever he wished. Okay. She put everything to Orrin in terms of worrying that her concern over what'd be best for him psychologically might prompt her to overstep her maternal bounds and speak out of turn and give intrusive advice. Now, I think we can all agree with that, folks. Sometimes, in the great words of philosopher Will Smith, parents just don't understand. According to all of her lists and advantage-disadvantage charts, BU was from every angle far and away O's best choice. But to keep from overstepping and lobbying intrusively, the moms actually for 6 weeks would flee any room Orrin entered. Both hands clapped over her mouth. Orrin had this way with his face where he would... Orrin had this way with his face would get when she begged him not to let her influence his choice. It was all during this period that Orrin had characterized the moms to Hal as a kind of... All right, my mouth is really dry, so I'm just gonna crack one of these. Coors Light. It's the piss of the Rockies. Cheap. All right, you know what? I feel like we know what's going on with Orrin and everything with the ETA and Boston U and blah, 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 blah. So we're just going to skip a little more into the book. Page 433, we know, we're not stupid. We're ahead of the author. We're the audience. So we're going to skip right to, capital letters at 438. Gentle at large superheader tours New England border amid tight security. Header whack champagne bottle against massive loot site walls south of what used to be Syracuse, Concord, New Hampshire. Salem, Massachusetts, 10-point subheader. Gentle more or less at large. Okay, he's just listing things. We don't need that. We don't need a list. Ooh, 470 new chapter. Pre-dawn, 1 May, WDAU, outcropping northwest of Tucson, Arizona, still. Do you remember hearing USOUS's Hugh Steepley said, in your own country, in the late, I think, BS 70s of an experimental program, a biomedical experiment involving the idea of electro-implantations in the human brain? Steepley at the shelf's lip turned to look. Marthy merely looked back at him. Steepley said, no, some sort of radical advance, stereotaxically. Oh my God. All right, we're just going to keep skipping, folks. Where are we now?
We're about 11 minutes in.
11 minutes. What I do for my art. Oh, I know what page I'm going to. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be performing now page 669 for your consideration. Discarded frigolets, emptied boxes, immovable and complexly addressed labels, trunks, used athletic tape and ace bandages, the occasional empty Visine bottle which blots dashes in his sweatshirt pouch for Mike Pemulus's next contest, Optics 1 and 2 lab reports, broken ball machines and stray tennis balls, 2 dead even for the repressurization machine, broken or discarded TP cartridges of stroke analysis filmings or worn out entertainment, an anomalous set of parfait glasses, fruit peels, and amino pal energy bar wrappers that the club itself had let down here after meetings, discarded curls of grip and tensile string, several incongruous barrettes, several old broadcast television. Some older kids used to like to keep around to watch the static. Okay. And along some of the seam of the wall and the floor, brittle limb-shaped husks of exfoliated pledge, expanses of arm and leg already half decayed into the fragrant dust. This compromising the bulk of the crud down here, and the kids don't mind much scanning and inventorying and bagging it because their minds are diverted by something else very exciting, a kind of possible raison d'être. I don't speak French. I'll speak French when the French can win a war in the modern world.
They won World War I and World War II, technically.
When France alone can win a war in the modern world. Fucking asshole. You know what? Davis got me off. I'm just gonna skip ahead. 7:32. The other man continually rubbed at his shine of the shoes with the facial tissue, causing his necktie to touch the floor. Don't you just hate when your necktie touches the floor, folks? These conversers formed a triad of unevenly sloped Dyin leather-colored plastic across the room, directly facing Marthy in a yellow chair against walls by these conversers. Dyin and most Wraith in a yellow chair against the walls. Oh my God, the words are blending together. You know what? I think this is a bad page. I think he just kind of typed everything weird, so we're just going to go ahead. 828. She seems to enjoy some of the collusive kickback type relationship with the manufacturers of spam, Day says, in his theory. It might be a whole different night. The nighttime ceiling no longer bulges convexly with Gately's own shallow breaths, and improve the sound he can now make have evolved from feline to more like bovine. But his right side hurts, so I'm burping. From deep inside, he can hear the pain laughing at 90 milligrams of Toradil. They got it in the IV drip, 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 drip. As with evil, when Gately comes out of sleep, there's no, please leave. Just please leave. We're getting close to the end of the book. You know how it ends. I know how it ends. So just leave. The show's over. We're not going to come back out and do anything. This is it. Just me trying to read out loud, not even doing it well. All I'm asking is for you to free me from this hell. What ethical, moral conundrum are you trapped in that you will not free me from this hell? Thank you. I'm going to just skip ahead again to, you know what? Page 979. We're all up to date with what's going on with the tennis balls in Marthy and the yellow chair and the Deans and, all of it. Next to an ungettable outside a Canadian hospital, he watched his own blood ruddle the serum as the pharmacist extended his thumb to ease the plunger back. The pharmacist's assistants could only really boot. C's tongue was in the corner of his mouth as he watched. The corporate guy had Frackelman's arms held tight, and a transvestal who had gotten behind him before in the chair, his head by the chin and hair by the gray lady, knelt before him with the threaded needle. Gately couldn't keep himself from watching the stuff go in him. There was no pain. He wondered for a second if it was a hot shot. It seemed like a whole lot of trouble just to go and get off of him. The pharmacist's thumbnail was ingrown. There were a couple eczema flakes on Gately's own arm where the guy was inclined over it. You get to like the sight of your own blood after a while. The pharmacist had him half-booted when Frackelman came out screaming. The scream's pitch got higher and higher as it drew out. When Gately could look away from the stuff going in, he saw a librarian-type lady was sewing Frackelman's eyelids open, the skin above his eyebrows, as in they were sewing the poor Count Faxula's eyes open. A kid on the playground had used to turn his eyelids inside out at girls, like they were doing now to the old poor Faxter. Gately gave a reflexive jerk towards him, and C hugged him tight with one arm. Easy, C said very softly. The taste of hydrochloride and sunshine was the same, delicious. The taste of every smell of the doctor's office everywhere. He'd never done Talwin PX. Impossible to get the scripts. The PX, the Canadian blend. US's Talwin's 388 got 0.5 milligrams of noxaline mixed to cut the buzz. Is why Gately did the NX of Bam Bams. He understood they'd given Frackelman the anti-narc, so he'd feel the needle as they sewed his eyes open. Cruel is spelt with a U, he remembered. The two Orientals, wow! The two Asian Americans left the room. At C's direction, Miss Linda MCC sounded the borderline psychotic. The little gray lady worked so fast, the eye that was already sewed open bulged obscenely. Everybody in the room except C and the corporate guy and the grim lady started shooting dope. Two of the homosexuals had their eyes shut and their faces at the ceiling as if they couldn't take watching what they were doing to their arm. Well, you know what? And here's the last line of the book. And when he came back to, he was flat on his back on the beach in the freezing sand, and it was raining out of a low sky, and the tide was way out. Really, Infinite Jest, if you want to pick it up, I know I just really told you the whole story, but there's just little details that I left out here and there. David Foster Wallace, really an American philosophy and literary icon, famously killed himself in 2008. There's a great movie about David Foster Wallace with Jason Segel as David Foster Wallace. The book is a national bestseller. Let me just read to you the summary on the back of the book, just so you know, in case you missed anything about the eyelids. Set in an addict's halfway house and a tennis academy, and featuring one of the most endearingly screwed up families in contemporary fiction, Infinite Jest explores essential questions about what entertainment is and why it has to come to dominate our lives, about how our desire for entertainment affects our need to connect with other people, and what pleasures we choose to say about who we are. Equal parts philosophical quest and screwball comedy, Infinite Jest bends every rule of fiction without sacrificing it for a moment. Its own entertainment value and exuberant, uniquely American exploration of the passions that make us human, one of those rare books that renew the idea of what a novel can do. I've been Matt McDonough, and hopefully you've not been here. Thank you.